Here is a video, a second video as part of my Faith Ringgold Tar Beach Story Quilt project. And in this step, what I have started to do is color in all my small details with colored pencils. Often when I use colored pencils, I outline pressing hard, and then I will color in pressing very softly, and that sort of makes my drawing pop. So I always like to do that. No, I shouldn't say always. I like to do that when I really want my drawing to stand out. I might even think about mixing two different greens, or maybe some green and some yellow to give it a little bit more dimension. So definitely take anything that you know about color pencils and apply it whenever you're coloring with them. So layering, overlapping, outlining, any of those techniques are helpful in this project. So after I do this, I'm going to demonstrate a very cool art material called portfolio pastels, and I am obsessed with these. They look like this. They are water-soluble oil pastels. So they're something that people don't often know about. And this is what they look like out of the container, out of the packaging. This one is 24 pack, so this has lots and lots of colors. I'm going to demonstrate how to use these. This is not the only way how to use them, but for this project, I'm using them kind of like watercolors, but you have a little more control because they're in a pastel form. So I'm gonna start in the sky, and I have a sunny day in my picture. So I always outline just because this helps to guide your color, and it makes sure that you're not putting color in places that you don't want it. So I'm gonna go around the clouds because I want my clouds to be white. I'm gonna go around the hills because I'm gonna make my hills a different color. And you should definitely outline your character or characters in the sky. And these are very soft, so I'm actually not pressing down super hard. I am putting a little bit of pressure, but I'm not pressing too hard like I would a colored pencil because they're softer. Now when you're ready to go to the next step, you can just start coloring in, and you can definitely tell here that I am not pressing hard. I'm just laying some color down on my paper, and then I can even overlap some other color here with the crayon or the oil portfolio pastel. So your job is not to fill in all these white spaces. It's just to get some color on there. So I'm gonna do a light blue and then maybe a little bit of a darker blue along the mountain ridge, just to give it some dimension. Pressing softly, not really worrying too much about filling in all these white spaces. This is the fun part. You get a cup of water and a brush, and you just start blending your colors together, and it begins to look like watercolor paint. And I love it because the tricky part about watercolors usually is trying to control where they go. And since we've already kind of put our color down where we want it, all we're doing now is just blending and softening the lines to make it look more like paint. You do need to keep wetting your brush, every now and then, and you still need to be careful around your outlines and around your edges. But I kind of like the hard edge, the outline there, because I feel like it makes parts of your drawing stand out just as when you did it with the colored pencil. Usually when I paint, I hold my paintbrush down here. I'm holding it up here just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So normally when you paint, you want to hold your brush just like you hold a pencil down on the silver part so that you have more control over where you're going. And basically when you're ready to paint over your oil pastels or your portfolio pastels, you're really just blending, and you do want to make sure that you take your time and really blend and soften any hard lines. So like right here, I can see that this is a little hard. So I'm gonna take my brush and just maybe add a little water and just try to blend that out a little bit. Okay, so my sky is done. Another nice thing about these is that with watercolors, I would have to wait a little while to go on to this area so that I don't have to see them mixing together, because if this is wet and this is wet, they would mix. But with portfolio pastels, that doesn't happen as much. So I'm gonna outline my hills with a dark green, and then I'm gonna color them in with a light green. And I'm doing that because I really want my hills to look like separate hills, but I'm not going to sit here and spend all the time to you know, blend all of them together. So I'm just going to start keeping my outline here with the dark green, and then I'll get my light green very lightly, very quickly, color in each hill. And the cool thing about this is that I'm gonna, when I wet my paper, it's going to start blending together a little bit, so it's going to look really nice. Sometimes a circular motion is helpful. And it didn't blend quite as much as I was hoping, but the cool thing about this is that even though it's wet, I can go right over it. And I can just work with my portfolio pastel. And then I can go back with my paintbrush and just blend a little bit more. Excuse me. All right, so I'm gonna stop the video here because I think you guys have what you need to move on in this project. And enjoy these materials. They're a lot of fun. I can't wait to show you the next part of this video project, because the next part, after I finish adding color to my picture, is I'm going to be mounting it onto a piece of construction paper and then creating a fabric border to look like a quilt. And it'll really feel like a Faith Ringgold inspired piece of art. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Go make some great art.